Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how to download and install Postgres on your Windows operating system. So here I have Windows 10, and although I'm a Mac operating system fan, but for those of you that are using Windows, I want to make sure I provide you the instructions for how to install Postgres. So it should be pretty straightforward, very similar to the Mac video if you've already seen it. So if you open up your browser and you type in Postgres, we're going to need to download the database software, and we could do that from their website. So let's click on this Postgres download link. This is going to take us to the download page of their website, and then we pick the operating system that we're using. So that's this thing right here, Windows. Let's click on that, download the installer. Okay, the installer takes care of the majority of the setup for us. So I'm going to click on that, download the installer, and then it asks us to select our version. I'm going to pick the latest version. At the time of this recording is 10.4. You can use 10.2 or even some of the earlier ones. As long as it's above 9.2, you should be fine, but pick something toward the top here, some of the options. I'm going to pick 10.4 and select the operating system. We're using a Windows 64-bit machine, so that's right here. Let's click on that and then download now. And that will begin the download. It's pretty much almost complete. And there we go. Let's click on that executable. And there we go. The setup has begun. This may take a little while, so I'm going to fast forward in the video to save time. All right, so this is the setup wizard. Click on next. And we're going to leave the default options. Notice it's going to save this to program files, PostgreSQL folder, and the folder name is the number 10. Okay, we're going to leave that as default. Click on next, and then it asks us, do we want all of these utilities? We do. We want the Postgres server, which is the database application, the actual Postgres database. And then the second option here, pgadmin4. This is the UI tool that we're going to be using to interact with our PostgreSQL server. Okay, so we want both of these options here. And then Stack Builder and command line tools, we'll leave that checked as well. We want all of these things, okay? So click on next, and now it's asking us where is going to be the data directory. I'm going to leave that as default. Click on next, and now it asks us to choose our password. This is important. Make sure you remember the password you chose for this. I'm going to, for the purposes of this course, it doesn't matter what we pick, but I'm going to pick a simple one that we can all remember, and that's going to be called password. And then click on next, and the port 5432, this is the default port that Postgres uses, okay? So if you ever run into trouble, chances are that this port is in use by some other application. Typically, you shouldn't have this problem, right? This is actually a very rare port number. No other application really uses this, so Postgres has chosen 5432. So you should be fine with this, but if you ever run into issues, look into what application is using this port number. We should be fine for this setup here. So click on next. So here we're going to leave it as default locale and click on next, and just click on next, and let's keep going. And there we go. It's starting the installation. So it's going to install the database server, and then it's also going to install the pgadmin tool that we can use to interact with the database server. So this may take a few moments. I'm going to fast forward in this video to save time. Okay, so when the installation is complete, you should see this window, and it says launch Stack Builder at exit. No, we don't care to launch a Stack Builder, so I'm going to uncheck that, and it's showing that the setup has finished installing Postgres on your computer, so we should be good. Let's click on finish, and there we go. We're done with the installation of the Postgres database as well as the pgadmin tool that we're going to be using in this course. So let me close the browser and head over to the application that we installed, the Postgres server. Click on this window icon down here, and then here are all the applications in the computer. So I'm going to go to the Postgres database folder. Okay, so let's keep scrolling down until we see a folder named like that. So here it is, PostgreSQL 10. This is the folder. So let's click on that, and these are all the applications that were installed. So this is the tool that we're going to be using, pgadmin4. So let's click on that. Give it a few moments until it loads up. So here it is. It loads it up in our browser. For Windows users, you're going to see it in the browser. For Mac, it actually opens up in an actual application. Doesn't really matter what we use. So in this application, if you expand this servers tab, you should see a plus sign. Click on that and notice it has already registered, or rather found, the PostgreSQL 10 installation. Okay. Now if you expand this, click on the plus sign, it's going to ask us for the password. Remember the password that we set? And that was password. PASSWORD. That's what we chose. So that's what it's asking us. Click OK. And there we go. We're connected. Okay. Now in here, we're going to have databases. So if you expand this database tab, notice right now we have this Postgres database. I'm going to show you how to create another database that we're going to be using in this course. That's probably going to happen in the next lecture, but I just want to show you how these icons look. So let's expand this Postgres database, and there are various items in here. All right, these are objects within the database. Most of them you don't have to worry about at all. The main thing that we're going to be concerned with is this schemas tab. So let's click on, expand that, and in this public schema, if you expand this further, you're going to see all of these objects that belong to the schema. Okay, don't worry about all the terminology here. I just want you to be able to navigate your way across this. Okay, and most of the work that we're going to be doing in this course is going to involve this thing called tables and views. Okay, these are really the only two items that I want you to be concerned with. Forget about everything else. You can look that up yourself, such as functions and domains and FTS dictionaries. Don't worry about all this. This is just some extra stuff that Postgres provides. Most of the work is going to involve tables and views. So if you expand tables, notice that we don't have any tables in here. But if we right click and go to create, we can create tables in this. Okay, let me close this alert that's showing here. You can create your tables like this, or you can create them in SQL, as I'll show you in the next lecture. Okay, so if you got to this point, you should be up and running in this course, ready to go. So let me wrap it up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture.